guys, and welcome back to the Jamir Smith Show podcast 2024. Wow, so we're back. It is a new year. It is a new season. Happy season, end of season 5, beginning of season 6 for the Jamir Smith Show podcast. And I'm really excited because like we said last year, we had some surprises up our sleeves. And I think, honestly, this is probably the biggest surprise is that we are now visual, y'all. Shout out. What's happening right now? We heard all of your requests. The TV network, shout out to TAAN TV for really just shouting us and boosting us and, putting the battery in my back, talking about some, hey y'all, what's up? Jamir, we ready for you. We need you on the TV screens. And guess what? I'm here. I'm super excited because, we have been a part of the podcast network now since 2020. And the Jamir Smith Show podcast, of course, is a platform that likes to highlight and really uplift the footprints of creatives, right? And I think our goal has always been to tell the untold story. And what I appreciate and enjoy about my show is that it is super authentic. It has always been a platform for creatives to receive their flowers. And I will continue to make sure that I highlight that. I will continue to make sure that we provide spaces for every creative to kind of tell their story in their own way. But I think for me, it's always interesting once I get off the calls and the interview is done and to hear the over 200 episodes that we've done. Thank you, Jamir. You see me, you appreciate me, you hear me. But in addition to that, I've just heard of all of the thank yous of just being able to help me tell my story in a way that maybe other platforms or magazines or spaces that these artists and creatives have been in have not been able to. So we're going to keep doing our thing, y'all. And guess what? We're doing our thing on all of your listening platforms, all of the major ones, of course, Apple and Google Podcasts, in addition to Spotify and Radio Public and Radio FM and, Anchor FM, Radio Public. It's so many platforms, y'all. It's like, wait, what's happening? But of course, one of our biggest platforms and networks that we're on, TAAN TV. The African American Network, with a local feel, but with a global reach. Huge shout out to our new family network, TAAN TV, for just providing me the platform to continue to tell these people's stories, to tell my story, and to hear me ramble on, you know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, I get so many messages and emails from so many people from the Jamir Smith Show. And thank you guys for just all of the messages, all the love that you guys have just given us the last few years. As you see, we're in a new space. If you guys don't know, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Jamir Smith. I'm originally from Durham, North Carolina, Bull City, shout out. And all of my Bull City, North Carolina people, y'all already know what it is. Y'all know what we do. But, I've had the opportunity to live in New York City, to Atlanta, Georgia, to Washington, D.C., and now we are live in Hollywood, California, in L.A., in the heart of L.A. on Sunset Boulevard. And I have just received an enormous amount of love and support from so many people from the show, wanting to be on the show, listening to the show, and just saying thank you again, Jamir. I think thank you for me is the highest form of flattery that people can ever say to a person. So I'm excited to keep telling the stories. I'm excited for this new season. Huge shout out to end of season 5, beginning of season 6. Happy 2024. I don't even know if I said 2023 earlier, y'all. Listen, it's still the first few weeks in January. Look, listen. What's going on? Happy Cat Williams, y'all. Listen, I know y'all saw that interview. We're not going to go into it, but huge shout out to Truth, huge shout out to 2024 and living your life in truth, living your stories in whatever capacity that looks like of truth for you. I'm gonna leave that how it is, read into that. But a huge shout out to Cat Williams for going on Shannon Sharp's podcast and I think stirring up some mess. I think sometimes we need mess to create a story. And I think a story is always beautiful as long as there's some form of truth behind that. So we're already getting emails and messages from you guys. So I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this on vibrate because listen, we're gonna keep blowing up. So 2024, I could not think of anything else but to start this season with, of course, me. Why not? But then, of course, making sure that we answered all of your very dying questions of 2024 resolutions, ideas, intentions, vision board, goals and focuses, and all of those things, right? All of the above, et cetera, et cetera. And so myself, the team has been able to curate a couple of questions from our listeners. Please continue to send your questions to the Jamir Smith show at gmail.com. You can always DM me on Instagram at Jamir_Smith. I appreciate all the love and all of the fashion messages. We have some really fun things happening. I will say that throughout the year. Stay tuned. I love saying stay tuned because when I say stay tuned, it's actually stay tuned. We got some good stuff up our sleeves. Biggest thing is huge shout out to TAAN TV, our new listening and now viewing network. We were the first podcast audio only on TAAN TV. Now y'all get to see us live and in full effect. Woo, man. All right, let's get started. I want to get started, guys. So, when we think about the new year and conversations and questions, we think about intentions. We think about how you can live your life in full authentic ways and authenticity. And I don't even know if that was a word, but it's going to be one today. And just being intentional on how you move and just making sure that, what you do in your life has purpose. And whatever it looks like for you should definitely just have some type of value, right? And I think for me, this show creates value. This show creates a space for me to tell my story, to tell other people's stories, but also to invite people with intention on the show that I align myself with. So that's really the purpose. But in addition to that, I thought about 2024 and my vision board. Are you guys still doing vision boards? I am. For me, it's about how do I really focus on my vision board on another level. Like, I want to make sure that I live my life with purpose and creativity and making more money and building relationships and finding things that I really want, whether that's material things or, relationships. And I think putting those things down digitally and also having a physical vision board is still things that I enjoy. It is still possible, for us to live our life with intentions, but also you have to plan for it. I think people can have these expectations of what your life should look like, but then you don't have a goal, you don't have a focus, you haven't planned it out. Me, I'm a Pisces through and through. And y'all know, listen, Pisces, I'm old, true Pisces, March 5th. I'm taking gifts. Just an FYI, March 5th. But, I think I've always been a planner. I've always made sure that my life is planned out, at least an idea of what it looks like. But in addition to, I've always made sure that I had goals and aspirations, and I've curated those things in a way that it just made sense. So with these questions, you guys really wanted to go into the new year with conversation. And with those questions, I think about how myself specifically, how did I end 2023? And one of you guys' questions was last year a good year for you? And what were some of those highlights? And I think for me, some of those highlights were moving to LA, celebrating my first year in Los Angeles, focused, already having a career, moving here with a job, moving here with intention, knowing where I wanted to move to, and building additional friendships. I moved here with knowing people living in different areas and places. You meet people and you build those relationships. But in addition to that, you also figure out, how do you build new relationships? I'm in a new world, in a new space. And I think as you continue to grow as people, you find different relationships that help you grow and build as people. So 2023 for me was a year of intention, per usual. We've talked about that on the show, but I think also it was a year of purpose. It was a year of making sure that how I move has purpose. The people that I meet have value and purpose, and the mistakes and the opportunities, that I'm a part of have purpose and intention. And I think I was extremely proud of the mistakes, the challenges, the opportunities, the moves, the people that I met, because it allowed me to grow to this space of where I am now, that I can tell this story. So I appreciate that. Next question is, what wasn't good about last year for me? I don't think that there was anything that was not good, honestly. And it's really bad to say. I think I can always say the loss of people. I did lose some people last year, as far as that are no longer with us. And I think that is always a place of, I don't know if anyone does deal with death well, but for me, it allowed me to look at life in a way that I had more value in my life. It allowed me to look at myself to say, got it, I need to continue to lead my life and live my life with more intention, but in addition to move with more intent, move with purpose. Let this be a continuation type of year. Don't let just 2023 mean something. No, if you have those same goals and aspirations, I talked about this on my Instagram story. If you have goals and aspirations that you wanted to accomplish in 2023 and you weren't able to do that, that's okay. Continue to do it in 2024. As long as you still have breath in your body, keep on keeping on, keep moving. It is what it is. Life is going to life for all of us. And I think the things that were hard for me allowed me to be stronger. It allowed me to, have more intent around the type of people that I'm around, but then also it allowed me to deal with people that are no longer in my life and lead myself in a space that just made sense of where I want my future to be. So shout out to moving on. Shout out to the people that ain't in y'all lives no more. Keep keeping on. Let life keep moving, y'all. Let's see. Did you achieve any of the goals in this past year, and did you keep resolutions that you made at the beginning of 2023? I did. One of my goals at the end of 2022, at the beginning of 2023, really was about movement. It was about putting myself in a space that I'm happy. I think 2020 was a year that we were all living in a space of confusion, of trying to figure out what did a pandemic look like in our lives. But then also I was in a place of movement, right? I had to adjust like the rest of the world. We had to figure out, what are we doing? How do we move in a place and still live and still try and be as healthy as possible and build relationships and live in spaces that we can continue to live in, So I think that 2023 at the beginning was a year of just really planning and understanding. And as I moved to LA, it really helped me understand a lot of my purpose and be around so many additional creatives that had the same dreams and goals and aspirations as myself. And it allowed me to really see how focused I was on building experiences, elevated moments, building relationships with people. I'm huge around that, right? I think in life, We can talk about how smart we are and how much education and degrees and certifications that we have. But I think as we move in life, we know that it's the relationships that we build. It's the people that you meet that have these opportunities and these experiences that allow us, these spaces and these rooms and these additional opportunities with jobs and just whatever. So I've always coined myself to attend elevated experiences and be in spaces that I can meet other creatives like myself that challenge me, for people that are doing things that I'm not doing. And wow, let me see if I can do those things. And if I can't, at least I tried. So yeah, 2023 for me at the beginning of the year really did allow me to just plan out what my life looks like for the next few years. And I'm still planning it and curating, moments. And I appreciate myself for giving myself the grace to give myself the grace. That was dope. Jamir, go ahead. What is usually on television for you during New Year's Eve? And do you enjoy being around certain people during that time? So for me this year, I was able to celebrate with friends that I've grown up with. And being in this new space here in LA, I was able to move to just this new beautiful space in Sunset Boulevard where I was able to build an elevated moment. And I was able to introduce that to friends that were visiting Los Angeles. We were able to attend a beautiful New Year's Eve ball drop, but also be around other people that were just celebrating. And I feel like I haven't done that in a really long time. I wanted to go to a really beautiful, quiet, elevated space, but I think also I wanted to celebrate. I wanted to celebrate that we made it, right? I wanted to celebrate that we were able to see another day and live another year and be blessed enough to create these experiences with each other. So during New Year's Eve, I normally would like to watch the ball drop. Shout out to Dick Clark and Ryan Seacrest and Andy Cohen. I was able to watch, some of the performances, but in addition to, we dipped out, did my little two-step, my little 1-2, and watched the ball drop, and we came down, and guess what? I'm old, so I came on back home and laid down. Because listen, I had to get up and do some things the next day, and I wasn't about to be out all night. I think you get to a place in your life, regardless if it's New Year's or a birthday, or you're out with friends at a club or a bar or a lounge, I know how to go home. And so that's my vibe. Listen, I love it. You pay all the, listen, I'm in LA. Shout out to my people that live in these expensive places, New York, LA, DC, certain places in Atlanta, San Francisco, Miami. We're in these very expensive cities, and we spend so much time outside. Oh, I'm outside. Forget that. I'm inside sometimes. I know y'all see my social media and I'm outside all the time. But there's a lot of times that I really am inside and just enjoying my time. So New Year's Day, Eve, whatever, I celebrated and brought my butt back in the house. It was in that bed. Let's see. I'm going to make this quick because, we want to wrap it up in the next few questions because you guys asked a lot of questions. What are your plans for the new year ahead? My plans for the new year ahead in 2024 are to continue to stay planned up. We always say prayed up. I'm going to say prayed up, but I'm going to say planned up also. I think being able to have a plan for 2024 of building and growing the podcast to another level, making sure that we've now curated and created this visual space for you guys to see me, to see the interviews that we have, but in addition to just to hear the conversations visually is big, right? I've done over 200 shows, audio only, with some absolutely phenomenal and amazing guests. And now y'all get to see Jamir live and in full effect doing his thing. This is crazy. So I think for me, 2024 will continue to build on that. I'll be able to grow the platform with the partnerships with TAAN TV, an amazing network full of creatives, the partnerships with our listing platforms like Apple and Google and Spotify. But in addition to, you know, I think the plans are to continue to elevate, right? To continue to build my self-esteem to another level, to drive my being, my relationships with people, to build those, and to just really put myself in these spaces with other creatives that challenge me. I think there are times that we do things much harder than what they need to be. There are times that we don't need to recreate the wheel. Why don't we partner with other people that are doing things, or ask questions, or sit back and see how other people move and how they run their platforms and you know, companies, et cetera, and apply those things for yourself, remix it in a way that is still yours, and just make sure, you know, you ain't copying folk. But, you know, how do you stop, you know, trying to figure things out on yourself and just build a relationships, man? That's what I want to do, is continue to build these relationships with so many people in the industry that are creatives, that are building their shows and platforms, and small businesses, Black-owned businesses, and white businesses, and Asian businesses, and brown, and the Latin community, and just making sure that I have a very inclusive, you know, platform of people that have the same type of drive and alignment, man. Alignment is huge, so that's my goal. Last two questions. Let me make them good, y'all. Do you have a good feeling about the future, and are you optimistic about it? I am extremely optimistic about my future. I am excited to continue to build the platform. I am excited to build these relationships. I'm excited to really, really drive this show to another level. I think it's always beautiful whenever you are starting from the ground up and you build relationships with people that are also starting from the ground up, and you get to keep your authenticity. You get to keep the ideas that you have as you're sitting in your bedrooms, or, you know, you're writing in your journal, and you really are able to apply those things to your platforms and to your own stories. I'm excited to keep documenting those things and writing those things down and applying those things to this show, to my life. I'm excited about the relationships that I will build. I know that I sound like a broken record with certain things, but it's the truth, right? I'm excited to really, really see the future of how I can drive relationships, partnerships, make money, travel. My life is bigger than what I can ever imagine, because it's not mine. The universe has already curated my life and my experiences. So I'm excited to just really see what the universe has in store for me. And I'm really ready to show you guys that it is possible. It is possible to be a little boy from Durham, North Carolina, that had goals and aspirations and dreams and built relationships with people throughout the years, and have always been my authentic self. This is nothing new, right? I've done this before, but I haven't done it to this capacity. So the universe already saw this. You know, God already saw this ordained space for me. You know, we ain't gonna get preachy. I ain't gonna get preachy with y'all, but I will say this. I do believe in a higher being, and know that at the end of the day, as long as you submit your will and you submit yourself to the universe and you create a plan of action, the universe hears that and understands that your space is so much bigger than what you could ever dream of. So I'm excited to see what my future has. Last question. What significant events will happen this year for you? And can you make any predictions about the upcoming year? It's kind of it mirrors my last answer. Let's see. I guess I'll just answer that one. And also, what wasn't good about, or what wasn't good about last year? There wasn't anything that wasn't good about last year. You know, I think I answered that earlier. Everything in life is supposed to happen for you. So I have to say, you know, what I'm excited about, honestly, is how we will continue to curate this show, how we will continue to build on this platform and really, really see how the future of this show, the amazing interviews that we will continue to partner with and build and be able to tell their stories. You know, I thought about this the other day, is that creatives deserve to tell their stories, right? They're people that are behind the scenes that they never get their stories told. The costumers, the hair and makeup, the truck drivers and the set designers and the assistants and the PR. Why are we not telling those stories? The Jamir Smith Show podcast is a show that will continue to highlight every single creative that has a story to tell. Whether you work in production, or you're a mom or a father, or you own a small business, or you're a person that's struggling and you're out and you had this huge moment in your life and now you lost it. Or maybe you are a doctor and you're trying to figure out, you know, how to heal, you know, the future, or you're a politician. We create and provide a space for people to tell their stories. I don't care who you are. We are all inclusive of everyone. But in addition to, I like to make sure that those footprints have a story and a space to tell those stories. So thank you guys for the first episode of the Jamir Smith Show podcast that is live for 2024. I know I was rambling a little bit. I was doing my thing, all in the videos. If y'all know where that's from, you know where it's from. But, you know, listen, I know I talked about this earlier about the Cat Williams interview, and this is definitely not what we're going to talk about, but I will say this, is that let's live this life with more truth. Let's continue to make sure we're building these conversations with way more truth, and we can just make sure that, you know, listen, as we navigate this thing called life, life is going to be life, and for every last one of us. So let's just make sure that you stay as positive as possible, as we always say, stay as creative as possible, and continue just to make sure that you have an organized life and you take time for you. Sit back out of the noise sometimes and just really curate your own experience in life. I want to thank you guys so much for just looking and viewing us for the first time ever. A huge shout out to TAAN TV, the African American TV network with a global feel but with a local reach. And also a huge shout out to Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, Radio FM, Radio Public, Anchor FM, and all of our listening platform, all our listeners. I appreciate you guys. Continue to send all of your listening in questions to us. I'm trying to think. I probably missed somebody, but, you know, charge it to my heart. You know, I love y'all. But again, make sure you guys hit me up on Instagram, Jamir_Smith. And in addition to, you guys can always email us at the Jamir Smith Show podcast at gmail.com. And as we say at the end of the show, y'all, stay positive, but stay creative. Until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in, and happy 2024.